Okay, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining in our Hatha yoga class today. I'm going to invite you all to come down onto your backs on your mat. So just however makes sense for you, making your way down onto your back. Let's keep knees bent, just planting your feet hips width distance apart. Let your arms rest down beside you. Feel free to turn palms down toward the floor if you'd like a little more grounding energy this morning. Or feel free to turn your palms up toward the ceiling for more of a receptive, energetic posture, just opening up to the space around you. Try to have your head in line with your spine. You can just listen along to the sound of my voice. It's not so important that you look at the screen. Letting your eyes soften above you or closing your eyes for a few minutes here at the beginning of our practice. If closing your eyes is comfortable and lets you settle and relax a little more easily. That's not true for everyone. So some folks might actually relax a little more easily with eyes just softly gazing up at the ceiling. Draw a big breath in through your nose and open your mouth and gently sigh it out. Starting to lengthen your breath, I invite you to explore equal part breathing this morning, trying to match the length of inhales to exhales. And to do that, you might just count internally to 4, 5, or 6 on your inhale, and then count to that same number as you breathe out, bringing balance into your breath, a sense of rhythm. With each inhale, feel your body just gently expanding and filling up, nourishing every cell of your system with fresh breath. As you exhale, invite everything to soften and relax toward the floor, feeling those places of contact that your back is making with your mat. Back of your head, soles of your feet also connected down. Give yourself a moment or two to check in with your mind, your mental state. We're not trying to judge ourselves with this check-in or push away any thoughts. Simply practice noticing how busy is your mind. Where are your thoughts taking you? Does it feel possible to observe your thoughts and not get swept away by them? And just noticing which thoughts happen. If you feel yourself being distracted, brought away from the present moment, take a deeper breath. Bring your awareness back into your chest, into the body. Notice your jaw and try to relax your lower jaw away from your upper jaw. And slowly begin to rock the back of your head side to side on your mat. Your eyes are open, you can gaze over one shoulder, trace your gaze all the way across the ceiling, and then gaze across the other shoulder. So your eyes are following the movement of your neck. Breathing. Bring your head back to neutral. Make sure that your neck is long here and keep your gaze on the ceiling or toward your knees. Turn your palms down toward the floor if they're not already turned down. Walk your heels in as close as you're able to towards your glutes. Feet still about hips width distance apart. And then begin to curl your tailbone under so that you can connect the whole low back against the floor. So if we just curl the tailbone under slightly here, then you should be able to feel your sacrum, the back of your hips, really supported and pressing down into the ground. A little bit of engagement in your abdomen, drawing navel in toward your spine. With an inhale, start to lift your hips gently up toward the ceiling, keeping that strong abdomen. Just a baby bridge here. With an exhale, we're going to gently roll back down. So keeping tailbone curled under, lengthening spine as you lower, and bringing your sacrum all the way back down so you're connected with the floor. We'll do a few more of those, just baby bridges, moving with your breath. Inhale, hips float up. Exhale, curl tailbone under, roll down your spine. Continue at your own pace. Keep it nice and slow, letting your breath be a guide for how high up you push, how long you stay in the pose. And we're going to bring our awareness into the core here. So these movements are really coming from our core, from the abdomen. Engaging low belly helps to curl tailbone under and lift up. Then engage that low belly again as you roll down to lengthen your spine. If you'd like to create a little more movement and involve the upper body here, as you lift your hips, you might explore lifting your arms and floating arms up and overhead till they just fall on the mat above your head, palms turned up. Then as you lower back down onto your back, simply float your hands up toward the ceiling and back down beside your body. Next time you lift up into that baby bridge, let's hold for 5 to 7 breaths. Arms can stay down beside you or they might be overhead. Keeping belly strong, send your knees energetically toward the front of your mat, strengthening through your thighs. Gently try to release and soften around your glutes. So we're using thigh strength, core strength to hold our body. One more big breath in. As you exhale, roll down your spine, curling tailbone under. Arms come down. Gently lift your knees above your hips. Take your hands to the front of your kneecaps. And then let's just rock gently side to side across your low back. Feel free to circle your knees, drawing knees in closer towards your belly and then pressing them away with your hands, moving knees in circles. Keeping knees lifted, just find a neutral spine. So we're lying on our back. Then let's take hold of the left knee with both hands and either plant right foot down on the floor or extend that whole right leg long on your mat for a little bit of a deeper stretch across your hips. As always, just do what feels best in your body. There's really no goal for what these poses look like. It's more about how it feels and how you can breathe and be present in your body as you stretch and move. Start to point and flex your left ankle. You can circle through your foot, flaring out your toes. Just find any kind of movement down through your foot and ankle. And let's gently lift the right knee back up to meet the left knee. Now we're going to switch. So both hands come around right knee, left foot plants on your mat, or left leg extends, resting the whole leg down on the floor. Hug the right knee in towards your body, upper body, any amount, and find movement through right ankle, right foot. Bring left knee up to meet right knee. Give both thighs a nice squeeze into your chest. And then we'll take our hands behind the thighs, tuck your chin, engage your belly, and gently rock and roll a few times up and down your spine as you make your way up to seated. So we're using belly strength here. You might find a couple more rocks than you actually need, bringing some energy and heat into the core of your body, massaging all along the back of your spine. Eventually find your way up, and we'll come into a comfortable seated position. And this might be a great time to grab a blanket or a towel if you'd like a little padding under your sits bones. Just pop yourself up on something to give yourself that support. However you decide to come to seated here, we're just really trying to find that length in the spine. So if sitting cross-legged isn't comfortable, feel free to extend your legs. Stack your shoulders above your hips, lengthening through both of the side bodies. Allow the crown of your head to reach subtly up toward the ceiling, lengthening the back of your neck. Gaze is soft and on the floor, or your eyes are closed. Using an inhale, begin to reach arms out and up toward the ceiling, joining the palms above you. As you exhale, belly draws in gently as hands come down to heart center. So we're hugging in around the abdomen as you breathe out. Then inhale, soften your belly, take a big breath in, expanding, arms out and up. Exhale, engage your core, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms out and up. Let's start to find some dynamic twists. As you exhale, right hand comes down, side bend, or not twist, side bends. Inhale, lifting both hands back up. As you exhale, other hand comes down, reaching up and over. Nice big side bend out of the hip. Continue to follow your breath. You might be moving slower or a little bit faster than me, just depending on how your breath is flowing today, how your nervous system's feeling today. And find one more, just completing each side, evening yourself out. Then we'll all inhale back up to neutral, both arms lift, palms meet. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then tent your fingertips out in front of your lap or just in front of your seat. Start to walk those hands forward little by little, lengthening your spine, finding a gentle hinge at your hips, folding over thighs. And you might find a deeper stretch here if that's available. You can just keep walking those hands forward as long as it feels comfortable. If your sits bones start to lift up off the floor, push into your palms to send those sits bones back down, gently allowing low back to round to send your tailbone down. Use an inhale to tent your fingertips and walk your hands back in. Come back to seated. Sitting up tall, nice long neck. Start to drop left ear toward your left shoulder. Of course, you have options for this neck stretch. You might just stay right here, or you can explore adding on one or both hands. One left hand can come up and around to right ear. Try not to pull on your head, just help to lengthen right side of the neck long. You can also tent right fingertips down toward the floor or on the floor or a block, helping to lengthen the side of your neck. Two really long breaths, just lengthening. Inhale and exhale. Gently let your hands come back onto your lap. Inhale, head back up to neutral. Exhale, drop your right ear toward your right shoulder. And then you can choose any variation. Stay right here or bring one or both hands into the equation. Yogi's choice as always. Let's bring hands back to lap. Gently lift your head back up to neutral. You might find a few shoulder rolls here, just loosening things up, letting your gaze move around the room a little bit. And then let's sit up tall one more time and start to drop your chin down toward your chest. You can take your hands up to the back of your head, interlacing hands at the back of the head. Draw your elbows in and just gently start to round your neck. So again, being really gentle here, just stretching the back of your neck, not pulling on your head. Bring your hands back to your lap. And again, inhale just to lift your head back to neutral. All right, folks, let's find our way into a tabletop position. If you're practicing yoga on a really hard floor this morning, even if you have a yoga mat, I recommend having something else to pad your knees, a blanket, a towel, a folded up sweatshirt, whatever you have laying around, just bring it underneath knees. And then we'll stack our joints, shoulders above the wrists, hips above the knees. Tops of your feet press down, all 10 toenails trying to touch the floor. Fingers Spread wide as you ground firmly through the finger pads and palms. Draw your low ribs in and broaden across your shoulders. Feel length and strength in your upper body. Nice long back, long through the side bodies, strong through your abdomen. Let's find a few cat-cows, allowing your belly to soften. Let's inhale as you move your gaze forward, draw your shoulders back, and send your hips and tailbone up toward the ceiling. As you exhale, pin your navel to your spine. Let that round your back. Curl your tailbone under, gaze to your belly or your thighs. Inhale, arch your back. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, make your way back to a neutral spine. And then let's send the left leg straight back behind you. Aiming your toes down toward the floor, we'll flex the foot, hips square. Now, I'll teach this from the option with the leg lifted, but if you need a rest, just take a rest at any point, bring your foot down to the floor. Know that you can always find a break for your own body and your breath. With your leg lifted, send your heel back toward the wall behind you and start to move your gaze forward toward the wall in front of you. Engage your belly, create length through your body. Using an exhale, let's start to round the spine, draw your knee in toward your nose. At the same time, we're trying to lift that left heel to touch your glute. Now, it probably won't touch your glute, but we're just moving in that direction. Then inhale, send your leg back, gaze forward. And exhale, engage your core, knee toward your nose, hug that heel up and in, round your back. 3 more, follow your breath. Inhales to extend the leg, gaze forward. Exhales to round your back, strong belly. After your third round, bring your knee back underneath your hip. You can sit back toward the heels or onto the heels if that's all right in your body, or just find a comfortable seat for a little wrist release. Bring the back of your hands together, back of your wrists together out in front of you. And then start to make circles, keeping your wrists connected. Draw your hands toward you and then send them out in front of you. Now the wrists will be rotating against each other. Just gently circling, letting those fingers move and spread apart. And then we'll change directions. So whichever direction you are going, just move the other way. Notice the difference in your body. Maybe it feels a little less natural to move the other way. And then let's make fists and then flick the fingers. Flick, flick, flick. Then make fists, squeeze the hands and flick. And then just a nice shake for those wrists, fingers, and hands. And we'll move into our second side. When you're ready, coming back in a table pose with a strong core. Right leg reaches back, heel toward the wall behind you, trying to square the hips. Lifting leg parallel to the floor. Now keep belly strong here. Still pushing down firmly with the palms. Gaze can start to move forward, keeping leg lifting, reaching back. And then with an exhale, let's engage the core, knee toward your nose. Push into the floor with your hands. to round your back, lifting upper body away from the ground. Your lifted heel is squeezing in toward your glute. Inhale, extend, gaze forward. Exhale, core strong, round your back. 3 more, just follow your own pace, taking rest if and when you need. As you're ready, bring both knees back down, and then let's take our knees out wider. Walk your big toes to touch behind you and find your child's pose, rocking your hips back and down toward the heels, letting your forehead come to rest on a block or the mat. If you'd like another wrist release, you can rest your elbows on the floor, lift your forearms, bring the tips of your fingers together, or make fists and just circle through your wrists. Using an inhale, gaze forward, make your way back up onto hands and knees. And then walk your knees back a couple more inches. So you really have to engage your belly here. Going to be in a modified plank. If you want, you might even lift your calves, your shins off the floor. And when you do that, you'll notice, ooh, I've got to engage my belly a little bit more there. So hug your navel in toward your spine, push into the floor with your palms, gaze down the line of your nose. From here, we're going to bend elbows beside our ribs and try to lower yourself all the way down toward the mat, onto your belly. Once belly comes down, let the top of your feet float down to the floor. Palms stay where they are, under the shoulders. Let's hug those elbows back and toward your rib cage, shoulders drawing back. Strong through your legs, press the tops of your feet down. Inhale, baby cobra. Just a little lift with the front of your heart. Still gaze down the line of your nose. Exhale, gently release forehead to the floor. Nice job. Let's do 2 more of those. Just move with your breath. Inhale, heart lifts. Keep light weight in the palms. Palms might lift off the floor. Exhale, forehead rests. Last round, inhale, lift. Exhale, roll back down. Inhale, push into your palms, back up, table pose. And now you can choose to stay in your tabletop or find a downward facing dog. If you'd like down dog, tuck your toes under. Start to lift your hips up and back, nice and high, finding length through your spine. And let's walk out our down dog a little bit, just bending into one knee and then the next. Moving however you'd like to wake up your body. Bring awareness into the back of your legs. I'll offer another little series here. You can do this series from down dog or table pose. So if you're starting in down dog and you need a little bit less, just bring your knees down. Let's inhale, left leg lifts up and back behind you, squaring off the hips. As you exhale, gaze forward, Rock shoulders over wrists. Draw your knee in towards your chest. Come high up on those back toes, or really rounding in the spine, hugging the belly in. Then inhale, send your left leg back up, three-legged dog. As you exhale, shift forward, shoulders over wrists, knee toward your chest, round your back. Inhale, press it up and back, three-legged dog, or you can be in three-legged table pose. 2 more. Exhale as you come forward. Inhale as you rock it back. Your next exhale, bring your foot down onto the floor, downward facing dog. Let's gaze forward. Take a few steps to walk yourself up to the front of the mat. Bend your knees. We'll just fold over the legs, finding a nice forward fold, letting everything release. Back of your hands might rest on the mat or on blocks. And let your head nod and shake. Relax your jaw. And keeping a nice bend in your knees. Start to gaze forward. As you inhale, push down into your feet. Rise up to standing with a flat back, palms meet overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Just rest your thumbs against your sternum, shoulders softening down your back. Just take a moment here to feel into your mountain pose, bringing about equal weight across your feet, letting your tailbone drop straight down like an anchor, helping to ground you. Using an inhale, sweep both arms out and up. Interlace your hands above you, point your pointer fingers. As you exhale, we'll find a side bend to your left. Gently pulling on that right hand with your left hand, just reaching up and over to the left. As you inhale, pointer fingers reach up, gaze up toward the ceiling, long spine. Exhale, other side. Inhale, back up to center. Let's go to each side one more time, just a little bit faster. So as you exhale to the left side, inhale, back up. Exhale, right side. Inhale, back up. Stay standing. Let's part the air with the arms. As you exhale, bring hands down beside you. Turn your palms forward for mountain pose. Now, as you inhale, start to drop weight back into your heels, bend your hips, or bend your knees, start to drop your hips. Inhale, arms sweep up, chair pose. So imagine you have this little invisible chair right behind you. Or maybe it's a nice velvety purple throne. You just can't wait to sit down in that really cushy chair and relax. So keep bending those knees, letting those hips sink down. Maybe turning the corners of your mouth up. Maybe lifting all 10 toes off the floor. A little bit lower, one more breath. As you exhale, belly to thighs, let's fold over the legs. Release into your forward fold. Inhale, flat back, hands to shins. Lengthen your spine, draw your shoulders back. Exhale, soften your knees, fold over your legs. Let's bring the hands down, walk or step your feet back into a plank pose. Or if you prefer, bring your knees down, lift your calves for that knee plank. 4 breaths, strengthening through every muscle in your body, pushing down into the floor. You got this. One more inhale. As you exhale, bring your knees down. Keep your belly strong as you bend elbows beside your ribs and lower onto your belly. This time, let's roll over the toes. Bring your arms down beside you and turn one cheek onto the floor. Allow yourself 5 breaths just to rest, feeling the front of your body supported by your mat. And at your own pace, we'll find our locust pose, gazing down the line of your nose. Point your toes. Using an inhale, start to lift head and chest off the floor. And if you'd like, you can add on the arms, reaching fingertips toward the wall behind you, and also the legs, lifting legs, using inner thigh strength, pointing those toes toward the wall in the back of the room. Four more breaths, building some heat. For your last 2 breaths, if you'd like a bit more, keep your arms lifted, but reach your arms out in front of you, trying to lift biceps beside your ears. Long breath in. As you exhale, let's release. Other cheek down, arms down beside you. 4 breaths. If your low back needs a release, you can simply rock those hips side to side. Just find a wiggle on the floor. We'll find one more round. And you can choose this time to find locust just as we did before, with arms and legs reaching back. Or if you want to build more heat and strength in the upper body, arms reach forward, palms turn toward each other. Gaze is forward, back of the neck is long. Another big breath in. Exhale, release. Let's bring hands under shoulders, push up into your table pose, and back into a child's pose. Hips to heels, forehead rests. Taking your time, start to make your way back into a table or a downward facing dog. So we have one more side of those plank ab workout moves from either table or downward facing dog. Find your pose, connect with your mat under your hands and your feet. When you're ready, inhale, the right leg lifts up and back, squaring off your hips. As you exhale, start to shift forward into a high plank, rounding upper back, draw your knee in toward your chest. Lift that right heel till it's almost touching that glute. Then inhale, push it up and back, 3-legged dog. Keep going with your breath. Exhales as you come forward. Inhales as you lift. Two more. And then make your way back into either table or down dog. Great job. Let's walk it forward to the front of the mat. Feet hips width distance. Fold over your legs. Nice little bend in your knees. Keep your low back happy. Inhale, flat back. Pause here for 3 breaths, hugging low belly in, creating that length in your back body. Let's exhale all the air out through the mouth. Then as you inhale, rise to the flat back, arms reach out and up. Exhale, hands to heart. Again, just pausing in your equal standing pose to turn your awareness inward for a few breaths. Noticing the shifts you've created internally in your practice so far. You might notice changes in your physical body, such as heat, heartbeat, breath, maybe a sense of aliveness, a little tingling or buzzing, or something else entirely. You just notice what it's like for you. Taking your time, we'll find our way into a warrior 2 pose, right foot forward. So work your left foot back, and you want to be able to draw a line from your right heel to your left foot. Okay, so just making sure the feet are about in the same line here, and find any length in between your legs. You can have a short stance, you might have a really long stance, or somewhere in between. We'll bend into the right knee, take your right hand to your right thigh, and just gently press right thigh to the right. So we're encouraging the hip to open, knee to stack over the ankle. Adding on the arms if you'd like, shoulders stacking above your hips here. Now, sometimes we have a tendency to lean forward a bit in warrior 2. And just gazing down at your body, see if you can stack those hips, stack those shoulders above the hips. Your gaze can move over the front fingertips. From here, let's start to lower the right forearm onto the right thigh. Turn your left palm toward the left side of the room, and then just start to lift that left arm up so we're in our side angle pose. If you'd like even more across the side body, extend left arm in line with left leg. So you're reaching long all the way from your foot up to your fingertips. Your gaze can start to move up toward the lifted hand if you'd like. And for those who want more core work this morning, let's start to float that right hand up as well, like you're holding giant sparkly beach ball in your hands. Pinning your navel to your spine. Nice work, everybody. Use your next inhale to lift back up, warrior 2. Flip your palms toward the floor, just settling back in. Whew, let those shoulders relax down your back. Flip your front palm. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Left hand rests very lightly on your back thigh as your right hand reaches up and above you. And then let's start to lengthen and straighten through the front knee. So we're moving toward our reverse triangle pose. Using an exhale, start to come forward into triangle. So right hand reaches way forward, then shoulders pivot, right hand to right shin, left hand lifts up and overhead. Strong belly here. We're continuing to hug the navel in toward the spine. That helps us to twist from the ribs and the shoulders safely. And if you'd like a little more core strengthening here, just release that right hand and let it hover inside your right shin. As you inhale, come back up, warrior two. Bending into the front knee. Hands to the hips, just make your way back up to the front of your mat. And shake it out a little bit if you need, wiggle through the hips, release right leg. We're just gonna do the same thing on the other side. When you feel ready, warrior two, left foot forward this time. I'm gonna be modifying this stance a little bit today because I dislocated a toe the other night and my right foot's a little bit sore. So I'm gonna be finding a little bit of a shorter stance on this side just to take care of my body. But you do what you need. Finding a longer stance is great if it's available for you today. Arms can reach out, stacking shoulders above your hips. Strong through the belly, gaze over front fingertips. At your own pace, start to bring left forearm down onto left thigh and let your right arm reach up and overhead. And just opening the front of your body to the right side of the room. Of course, if you'd like that longer stretch, you can reach your right arm all the way overhead for an extended side angle pose. And if you'd like to hold your big sparkly beach ball, go ahead and engage belly more as you reach both arms up. Continuing to breathe, nice work. Couple more breaths. As you inhale, lift it all the way back up, warrior two. Softening through the shoulders, readjust as you need. Then we'll flip the front palm and reverse our warrior. Now reaching that left hand up and back. Right hand rests very lightly on the right thigh. And we'll inhale, start to straighten the front knee, pressing into the front foot for reverse triangle pose. Exhale, come forward for triangle. Left hand reaches over left leg, then pivot, left hand to left shin. Really trying to open that front body again to the right side of your room. Option to just hover the left hand inside the left shin. Using an inhale, lift back up, bend into your front knee, warrior two. And then let's just step our way up to the front of the mat. You can bring your hands to your hips, make your way back up, wiggle it, shake it, whatever you need, just to let that all feel equal, neutral. Great. And then from the front of your mat, let's bring feet hips width distance apart. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Soften your knees. Exhale, hinge at your hips, dive down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Let's plant the palms, walk or step your feet back, plank. Or, of course, you have that option to bring knees down if you prefer. And we'll move through a vinyasa here a little bit quicker, taking your inhale in your plank pose. As you exhale, either lower to belly or lower about halfway, elbows hugging in towards your ribs. Inhale, rolling over the toes, either cobra or upward facing dog. Thighs off the mat, arms strong. We'll exhale back to our down dog or table pose. If you need a rest, you can of course find a child's pose. Just letting your body relax and soften into the floor. Gaze forward. Walk or step your feet up to your hands. Feet hips width distance. Let's inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Soften your knees, gaze forward. Inhale, arms sweep out and up. As you exhale, let's bring hands to heart, chair pose. Sink hips back and down. Drop your weight back into your heels. Keep that spine long. 2 more breaths. Sink a little lower if it's available. As you exhale, belly to thighs, let's fold over the legs. Then bend your knees. We're going to come down to seated and all the way onto your back. Keep those feet on the floor, knees bent. Just take a moment to let yourself settle onto your back. Do a few more little core exercises before we find some resting poses for the end of our practice. So for these core exercises, I'm going to invite you all to be very aware of your neck. If your neck starts to feel like it's unsafe or things are uncomfortable, let your head rest on the floor, take a break. We really are trying to use our abdomen strength here, but when that starts to get fatigued, we can move all of that tension up into our neck and shoulders. So if that starts to happen, try to notice, give yourself rest, bring that energy back down into your core. Lift your knees and your feet till the knees are about above your hips, and then start to send your feet up toward the ceiling. So you can just hang out here and do the exercises from here, or if it's available in your body, lift your head to lift just a little bit of your upper back off the floor, and then lift your arms so your fingertips are pointing toward the front of the room. Now from here, we're going to exhale, start to lower that right leg any amount down toward the floor. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, other leg lowers down any amount, just to hover, and then back up. Exhale, both legs. Now they might just go to a few inches down. They might go all the way down to just an inch or so above the floor, and then we're going to bring them back up. So keep going. Right leg, legs back up. Left leg, both back up. Both legs. Continue to breathe. If it feels like your neck needs a release here, you can hold the back of your neck, the back of your head with your hands. Just keep those elbows wide. We're not going to strain our neck here. We're going to keep the neck long. Let your head rest back into your hands. Then you can keep going with your legs. Yeah, start to feel the burn maybe. Building some heat in your body. Nice long breaths. Take a break if you need. We're all in this together this morning. Keep hugging navel to spine. Check in with your neck. Do you need to relax your neck? If you need a break, just take a break by bending your knees, letting your head and elbows rest down on the floor. This practice is really all about you. So not everyone is going to want to build this much heat this morning. It's not going to feel great for everybody. So I'm really inviting you to just notice, is this okay for your system right now? And if it's not, can you give yourself a break? Let's find just a few more breaths here, continuing to move if you're still into it. Then relaxing, shoulders, head down, bend your knees, take your hands around the front of your shins, draw your knees out wide, and let's rock side to side on the low back. Might be feeling a lot of sensation in your abdomen right now. We just created a lot of energy there, brought in a lot of strength to our muscles, lots of awareness and circulation. Let's go ahead and set up for another round of those baby bridge poses, just like we started our practice. So feet planted, knees bent, feet hips width distance, and then walk your heels as close in towards your glutes as is available. Arms down beside you. Curl your tailbone under, press your low back into the floor, and then float your hips up toward the ceiling. We'll hang out here for a few breaths. You don't have to go into a very deep bridge, just you're going to gently open up the front of the abdomen again. Taking a few breaths, see if you can expand your belly, expand your ribs with your breath. As you exhale, gently start to roll down the length of the spine. Take a few breaths just in neutral, letting your thighs knock together at center. And I'll offer one more round of bridge, so you can find that same baby bridge, just letting the hips float up to a place that feels really comfortable and easeful. If you want to move further into the bridge, hips press high, shoulders walk underneath your body. Maybe your hands can clasp together under you, pressing down at the shoulders, the back of your arms, lifting your heart, lifting your belly, lifting your hips. Press your heart toward your chin. Nice breath. Let's release the hands. Start to lower down one vertebra at a time. Let your low back just relax against the floor. Take your arms out to a T and then bend at the elbows, or in cactus arms lying on the back. Well, from here, we'll bring the knees up one more time, just kind of lifting the feet a little bit off the floor, and start to lower those knees over to the right side for a twist. Finding a twist that works in your body today, just exploring creating a spiral in spine. Might start to move your gaze to your left as your left shoulder softens. Long breath in, full breath out. Start to come back to neutral, lifting knees back in center. And find your twist on the other side. Knees come down anywhere you'd like them to on your left. Your gaze might be at the ceiling, might start to move over your right shoulder. Trying to allow right shoulder to be heavy. You might even feel a bit of an opening across the right side of your chest. Breathing as if your breath could create space in your body, in between those muscle cells, in between all those connective tissues. And start to find your way onto your back, neutral spine. On your back, let's join the soles of our feet together for butterfly legs. Bring your hands down, and your hands might rest on your navel and your heart, helping you to connect more with your breath, the center of your body. Or if you'd like, you can just let your arms rest beside you, because from here, we'll just be moving directly into our resting pose. If your thighs feel like they need more support here, it's uncomfortable to have the knees open like this, you can roll up towels or blankets or use pillows. Just shove them underneath your thighs here. Offer your thighs something to relax into. That can be a really supportive adjustment for your body. Soften your gaze at the ceiling, finding a single point, and just letting your focus hone in on that little spot. Or you might choose to close your eyes, turning your gaze and your focus inward. Letting go of effort with every exhale, allowing gravity to help open your hips, relax your body toward the floor. If you feel comfortable here, you might explore just taking this as your resting pose if you feel like you can really relax into this shape. Some of you have the hips for that, so enjoy if that's you. Everyone else, I'm just going to invite you to move into your version of a resting pose at your pace. So you might hang out here for another minute or two and then extend your legs into Shavasana, or you might move into that resting shape now. And I'll allow for the next few minutes of silence for everyone just to let your practice integrate, let your body and your mind settle. Bring your awareness to where your body is connected to the floor here. Just sensing into that little line of gravity between your body, your mat. At the same time, can you sense the space surrounding your body? Just noticing the air has a temperature, any quality of movement. Can you sense the size of your room? Seeing your body resting in that space. At your own pace, find some small movements through your fingers and toes, hands and feet. Bringing a sense of curiosity into the movements of your wrists, your ankles. Is there perhaps a bit more awareness in your body after moving your body for an hour? Taking your time, just make your way over onto either side, rolling off onto your side body, transitioning there for a few breaths. And then making your way back up into any comfortable seat. Feel free to keep your eyes closed if that feels nourishing for you at this moment. As you come to seated, I'll offer the option to either rest your hands on your thighs or bring your hands onto your heart and your solar plexus, which is that place where your ribs come together, right at the middle of your upper body. And I invite you to send yourself a big wave of gratitude internally. See if you can offer a thank you to your body for everything it was able to do for you this morning. And thank you all so much from me for being here. It was lovely to see you all. Namaste.